Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. A while ago, I made a post talking about making a new series called The Making Of. It was meant to be a replacement for the Game Design Classroom series, so you want to make a TTRPG. People ask, why do you want to change that, why do you want to get rid of it? The answer was, it was because it was too broad, too much things to worry about, really. And how do you make something so broad or something so specific to every person? So I had to kind of retool my ideas with it a little bit. This led me to, well, here, The Making Of. This is going to be a little bit of a different format than usual. I'm going to do a little bit more conversation, a little bit you and me. Why are we doing this? Well, because I feel it's important. Because I want to help you just as much as I want to help myself make something fun. So what are we doing here? There's no script, there's no anything. I've got some talking points and that's just about it. So we gotta start from the very top of designing a brand new game. And you want to know what that's called, everybody? You're right. That's called finding your anchor. But what is an anchor? At the absolute core of it, all an anchor is the refined concept of your game distilled down into a perfect essence. It is a thing allowing you, the developer, to always reference back. It grounds you. It keeps things functional. This is, by far, the most complicated part of designing any TTRPG ever created by man. The first step of any creative project, first step of anything almost, is writing it down for the first time. Just getting all those cool ideas and putting them down. Because ideas are gooey, they're easy to acquire, and almost always come to you at inopportune times. You could be walking down the street and get a great idea, watch a video and be inspired, or listen to even a piece of music and just have something resonate with you. Ideas are great in your head. Ideas are amazing. They have this amazing potential, and I encounter so many people who the second they are forced to write something down, they can't. All those ideas just dissipate, just leave. So probably the first thing I want to tell you is write down every idea you've ever had. Write them down, just have them physical, on paper, because if you have that, you're doing a lot better than most people. Now we get to the hard part. Well, separating those ideas out a little bit. Ideas, as I already said, are gooey. They're high concept usually. I want to have fantasy. What does fantasy mean? What does that mean? I want to have giant robots. Okay, what do you mean by that? I want a biopunk, steampunk, explosive magic, but also it's science fiction, and there's also Fallout in it, but there's also, well, you get the point a little bit. You want to have everything. That's what an idea is, such this high concept premise. What you gotta do is you gotta take all of the ideas, all your little inspirations, everything, divide them into two categories. Creative and actionable. Creative ideas are the fun ones. These are the ones that you're like, yippee! I'm having fun because I'm inspired by Halo, I'm inspired by Skyrim, Studio Ghibli, Stardew Valley, the Mongol Empire, or anything else really. These are just creative liberties. These are something that excites the mind. This is the spark that keeps you going. Then you have actionable ones. What's an actionable idea? That's something that you want to do. I want to make a game with a D20. I want to make a game with 2 characters. I want to create a modular TRPG that can run any setting I possibly want. Those are actionable. Those are things that you can do. I can't say, well, I want to make Halo. What does that mean? You have to turn ideas into actionable ones. This is not saying get rid of them, but you have to identify what you actually want to make. That's hard. That's difficult, because what you want to make is so much better in your mind, and then you start writing it down and those great and wonderful ideas that you have aren't working, because that's one of the most important things you gotta remember doing. Not every idea is gonna make it past that first culling process. Yeah, you really love the Halo things and you want to have exactly like Halo and you want to be like this, that, and it's like, do I really need to put the Berserk influence in there? Okay, maybe we can shave some things off of the Berserk idea. Maybe we can just slice off what I want from it. What do you want from it? Maybe you want something more creative with it. Maybe you want something more actionable. There's a lot you can do there. That's just a little example. Refining an idea takes time. It's hard, it's not fun. Once all of those little ideas have been refined down, you start making an anchor. All an anchor is just the actionable core of what you want to make. This is the refined set of ideas. That gooey mass has been crunched together into a mouse-shaped form all of a sudden. The ones that don't work get kind of shoved away, and it's there, it's taking shape. But the anchor is cutting it down further. It's from taking all those actionable ideas, all the things you want, and saying, it's going to do this, and this, for that reason. Processing it down further, it gets harder and harder, because you never want to give up any of your good ideas, right? But don't hesitate to retire some ideas. Never get rid of them. Never burn them away. Keep them away, put them somewhere else. You might need them later. Right now, you're making a single game. And that single game needs a focus. It needs that anchor to ground it. Once you start really focusing that single anchor down, then start making pitches. What's a pitch at the end of the day? A pitch is just a quick way for me to tell you what I am making. Well, my game is kind of like Beowulf by way of Redwall. Okay, that gives you kind of an immediate idea of what we're working with. I want to make Halo, but it's also Fear. Okay, we got a lot to work with there. This is a really simple way of doing it. This is what they usually use for pitches and other creative works. In TTRPGs, you can also do another really easy one of just pitching it to someone who may not know. How do you give your idea down to someone that may not understand what TRPGs really are all about? My game is one where you play a cool spaceman and then you shoot bad aliens in the face with a gun with jetpack. Because do you want to know what that's actually saying? You're saying you want characters to be action focused. Characters need to be a lot more durable because they're supposed to be action heroes. I want them to be able to have a lot of movement. I want them to be able to do things. And of course, we're in space, we need a spaceship. That's what your anchor is. It could be a very general term. It could be something really specific, but it's everything links back to it in some manner. That is a lot easier said than done, though. Getting all of that down and making sure everything relates back to it is difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's a couple ways you can. I personally like to organize all my things into little notes. So you see here on my Miro board here, this is just for one game. These can expand out and they might be different. Alternatively, you may want something a little bit more structured, such as the Horus core set. One core central idea that encapsulates what the game is about. 2 main types of gameplay. 3 defining ideas about the setting. 4 details about your central concept and your gameplays that you want to see. 5 setting details. Just something little, something small. Force yourself to downsize. Cut down. Cutting down is hard. Expanding, that's easy. Once you've got that all cut down, once you've moved that down into a nice little core, you've got an anchor. And you've got a pretty strong one, don't you? The making of is actually making a game, and that is Astra Dragoon. This is a science fiction fantasy game that has a few ideas in it. Mostly because you're going to be part of an officer's academy for a science fantasy setting. We wanted a little bit like Phantasy Star, just a little bit of Phantasy Star, some endless legend in there via the academy and such. We want all these little things together. But I'm going to tell you a secret. My ideas is that I needed a setting or needed an idea to have everything that you all might want to hear about. It needs to have science fiction elements for guns, range combat. It needs to have fantasy elements because that's something safe and reliable and knowledgeable and oh goodness, how are we going to talk about magic? Then we also have the idea of the Officers Academy because the Officers Academy means characters are young but might be experienced in some way. So we can have variable starting points for characters. This entire idea ended up getting refined down, not for a great, awesome, cool setting idea or some amazing gameplay loop or whatever. It was made because that's what I thought you guys might want to see. And what you guys want to see is me talk about broader ideas when it comes to designing a game. And that's what I plan on doing. So join me in the making of Astra Dragoon. It's going to be a weird game. It's going to be a little bit strange. And hopefully you like this more conversational approach to things. The video has been a little bit longer than my usual ones, but I hope you will indulge me a little bit on this. My name is Notepad Anon, and this was the making of Astra Dragoon 1. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Many thanks to the patrons as always. Godspeed, good luck, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Ah, fuck!